welcome to Tech Fest.
Thank you.
How are you doing? So, Shatter Skies have literally just come off the stage. How'd it go?
That's correct. It was great. It was absolutely hilariously sweaty.
Yeah.
My hand was literally slipping off the guitar as I tried to play, but it was amazing. Like 2 PM, and like a minute before we went on, we were about to play, there was nobody there, but that's because of the alternate stages. Then just before we started, the whole place filled up, and we were like, wow. So for people to come out at 2 PM, probably very hungover in this weather, pretty impressive. So.
I think that's testament to the British crowd.
Yeah.
We do love our metal.
It's
and
true.
I think it could be hailing, storming, with sunshine coming from one direction and people will still turn up.
It's absolutely true, yeah. We've played a few English festivals now in all versions of the weather, and people really do turn up all day. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, the British crowd seem to be really quite tightly behind you, but you're down a bassist.
Yeah, well, we're not technically down a bassist. He's in Ireland. He was finishing up exams, and now he's kind of busy with work. So we don't know exactly when he's going to be moving over, but we have a potential sort of temporary guy who's going to be joining us soon. But he's still learning the stuff, so that's why he couldn't make it today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was still a great performance. It wasn't sort of really too inhibited at all by the performance.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. You know, it's like we're a pretty small band anyway in comparison to a lot of the bands here that a lot of them have 5 or 6 members. We're only a 4-piece anyway, so we're fairly used to having to deal with like tons of space on the stage and trying to make it not look like we're lost on it. So it could have been worse, definitely.
I do believe you may have a history of Tech Fests.
We do. We played last year, yeah.
So obviously the venue is quite significantly different.
Quite, yeah. That venue last year was surreal because we stayed that last year, and we stayed on the floor of that room that they just gave the bands, like 4 different rooms.
It's the green room.
Yeah, the green room. It was literally just linoleum floor, no curtains. We woke up and I woke up at about 7 because the sun was just blasting in all the windows. Cold, hot linoleum floor, and then just farts, just an orchestra of farts, and it was just like, this is the worst day of my life.
That's proper metal.
It really is. So the funny thing was, that was the morning we were to play, and I just felt like absolute crap for the whole day, and then we went on, and it was just, it was still one of my favourite gigs was last year as well as this one.
Tell me, do you think the whole venue change sort of shows a shift in what we consider metal?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this whole style, this tech gent, whatever the hell you want to call it, is really becoming, I don't know, I guess it's starting to make its way into the music scene now. It's not this sort of weird outside internet thing that it was. Like, you know, because you got like bands like Periphery and Tesseract getting a lot of mainstream, and then the Algorithm winning the Golden God and things like that. So, you know, it's beginning to get acknowledged in that way. So a lot of, I'm finding a lot of people come to these festivals who don't know gent or don't know the history of it. Like Meshuggah started it, and Periphery and Tesseract were kind of the early ones and whatever. They just heard the music and really like it. So yeah, it seems to be getting bigger. Like Euroblast is bigger than it was the previous year as well. So it's just on the up. It's great.
I mean, what we've noticed being at a festival like this as well, when you just spoke about sort of bands that you consider mainstream, they're big. What we love about this sort of intimacy of this kind of festival is that everyone seems like it's approachable. So it has a kind of humbleness to it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's crucial, because there's nothing worse than, especially if you're a big fan of any of these bands, you know, and you do get lucky enough to catch, you know, to talk to somebody from like one of the bigger bands or whatever, and there's always the worry that you're going to meet them and they're going to be a bit arrogant or a bit like not in the mood to talk to you. But all the bands here, I guess, are used to playing these kind of festivals, so we're just not expecting to be like left alone, and we don't want to be. Like, we'd much rather talk to people because, you know, we're just people as well. So.
It's as much a festival for the bands as to play.
Yeah, we really look forward to doing like this and Euroblast, which are pretty similar festivals, are just such a great time because the fans are hilarious. We all get drunk together, and all the bands are really cool. So, you know, it doesn't feel like I mean, I don't mean this about an official festival. I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. It just feels more like everyone's just hanging out, and there's happens to be a gig as well. Yeah. So it's good that way.
So speaking of material, you have been busy recording.
Yes.
Very, very busy out here. There's a bit of a buzz around here. It's I would say it's much anticipated.
Really?
People are itching for it.
That's good.
What was the buzz like when you came to sort of put all material down and start putting material?
Yeah, it's been good. It was a very intense process because there's a lot of songs. There's about 12 tracks on it altogether, and it's like an hour long. And with our style, that's pretty intense to record because they're just very like tight and very we don't like to do too much, like a huge amount of editing. We try to get as much of the real performance in as possible, so that makes it extra hard. And like Sean, doesn't like use very much any sort of pitch correction or any of that sort of stuff. So but it's been good, like the album is very varied in comparison to what we've done before. Like it probably has some of the heaviest stuff we've ever done, but also definitely some of the lightest stuff. One of the tracks is just piano, drums, bass and vocals, there's no guitar. One of the tracks is like an 11-minute prog epic. There's other ones that are kind of more pop metal. It's really all over the place. But yeah, I'm excited. We played we played nothing off our first EP today. It was all new stuff and everyone loved every track, so that was good.
Oh yeah, big buzz surrounding 15 minutes as well.
Yeah, it's been received well. We're very happy with that.
So your album's is it still going to be called The World We Used to Know?
That's correct, yeah. It's the name of the last track in the album, which I actually wrote the first draft of like 5 years ago, and it's just been one of those songs. It's the like big 11-minuter. Yeah. It's just been like rewritten, and it's sort of, I guess, ties up the whole feeling of the album.
And when can we have it?
I really don't know. I'd love to say a date. We're about 80% finished recording. We're actually about to move house like tomorrow. So that'll be about a couple of days of doing that, and then we're just gonna set everything up and get going straight away. So I'd say we'll be finished in less than a month. And then we do want to do this, like we self-released up till now, but we do, like, as there's a bit more of a buzz now and things seem to be going a bit better for us, we do want to at least approach labels and see what's what. And if we can get some sort of interesting deal that's beneficial, then we'll work with them. And then when you get on the label, they have different album cycles, so I can't say exactly, but before the end of the year for sure.
I bet you can't wait.
Yeah, no,
whatever it is.
We're dying to, because like I think I finished writing the last song at the end of 2012. So we've already got like half of the next album written, but so we're like dying to get this one out just so people can hear it. Yeah.
A lot of progressive bands self-produced, and I think that's why it sort of has quite a humble sensibility to it, and full control. But there are also criticisms. I mean, what's your opinion about that?
Both sides are valid. I mean, the pragmatic side of it really is you just can't afford producers and to go into big studios and pay $1,000 a minute for this amazing desk. And yeah, you'll get the best sounds, and I do think producers can be very valuable with certain bands, like helping them with direction and suggesting maybe better ways to arrange a song or whatever. I don't know, we've kind of become pretty good at self-criticism. Like, we know what we do well and what we don't do well, and we know when a song's starting to meander a bit or maybe it's not quite done. Like, this album, we cut several songs off it and replaced them with songs we thought were better, so we're definitely not the kind to just like write the song and then be like, okay, that's perfect, but yeah, we send it to like other musicians that we know, and even some of our kind of fans who become close friends of ours, we'll send them like in secret basically like a new track and just tell them, give us honest opinion and
give us the hard truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And
definitely.
they're the best people to go for, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to be listening to it, and no one has to like your music. So if they're going to turn around and go, I don't know, someone actually said to me once, the first track in the album, which is going to be the next single, the first draft of that I ended up hating, and I wanted it off the album. But someone we knew said to me, the second half of the song is really good, the first half sucks. And when he said that to me, I was like, oh yeah, it's a really good idea. So Ross came up with an idea for the first half, and then it became one of the best songs on the album. So when you get other people's, it's definitely a valid reason to get other people's opinions. But I don't know if producers, it depends on the band and the album. Sometimes you can definitely see watching like making of documentaries of albums where the producer's been crucial. And then there's other times where they just seem to be sitting there saying yes to everything the band does and go, that was great. And it's like, what are you paying him for, really? So yeah, it's one of those things. There's no right or wrong answer, I think.
I mean, I think either way, I think it's going to be better. It's going to be for the band. So if it doesn't feel like
you get to keep that integrity, and there's sincerity of intent, I think, is what people just go towards regardless of anything. Like, it doesn't matter what style, if your music's complicated or simple or poppy or whatever, or not poppy, it doesn't matter, as long as what you're doing is what you really want to be doing, and everyone in the band really feels the song, and that comes through in both in the recording and live. I don't think people really care what you did to make the album,
Well, everyone's looking forward to it. Have you got tours plans to do any tours, shows, anything?
We've nothing specific. Like, we're really focused. We need to get this album done. So, but we've some pretty interesting shows later in the year. But they're all kind of in the works. So yeah, at the moment we're definitely
Watch
this
your
was
space.
yeah, exactly. Like we really want to we want to do all of Europe. We want to do all of Europe, and we've had a few offers for India as well. So we're thinking around there, and yeah, we just want to get around. But we definitely have a couple of really cool shows coming, especially in the UK. So.
Definitely. Well, I won't keep much longer. So I think we're both melting. The camera's only got about 3 degrees more before it bursts into flames. So I want to ask you 3 questions that are really deadly serious.
Sure.
They will set the pace for next year for your career, clearly. I want to ask you, what's your favourite festival food?
Favorite festival food? You know, Germany. Any German festivals we've ever done? Currywurst. It's just like
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's literally just like a sausage, a big sausage. They dice it up and pour curry sauce on it. It's like one of the best things I've ever had. And it's like a euro in Germany, so that's my favorite for sure.
If Shatter Skies were a country, which country would it be?
Kazakhstan.
Trying to keep you on your toes.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. And which literary character would be a Shatter Skies fan?
Oh god, that's a tough one. Literary character. Oh my god. I want to say Gimli from Lord of the Rings because he's small and hairy like me. I think he could identify with that.
On that note, thank you very much.
Cheers. Man. Thanks
Have a
a
good
lot.
day.